Hi everyone, in this video we're going to touch on the Ironclad's two other unusual offensive builds and tips I've utilized and had some success with. But before we get into that, I want to mention that if you are looking for the Ironclad's common defensive and offensive tip builds, you can also find that on the channel page. I've made a separate video for each. And if you did enjoy any of them, please like and subscribe. To start off, the reason why I say unusual is that the builds that I'm going to show you are very uncommonly used as they can be difficult to develop. I highly do not recommend building these decks if you are just starting to play Slay the Spire. Also to know, I will not be including colorless cards, strictly the red color cards. The first deck we'll delve into is the Searing Blow deck. The main card of this deck is Searing Blow, costs 2 energy and deals 12 base damage. And what is unique about this card is that it can be upgraded as many times. First upgrade is plus 4 attack, and every upgrade after adds an attack point to the previous attack upgrade. So on the 5th upgrade, you'll have plus 8 damage increase from the already accumulated attack damage from the previous 7 upgrades. I hope I did not lose you there, but in other words, our main goal is to have this card upgraded as many times as possible. Before you begin the run, try to look for the path that has you visit as many campfires as possible. And theoretically, for this build, we should upgrade Searing Blow every time to maximize our damage output. This is where the goal of this deck can become impractical. Sometimes at campfires you need to choose the rest option, as for example you just faced a difficult elite battle and need to restore your health in order to continue on your run. This can set the card upgrade process behind depending on how difficult your path is. And because you are specifically choosing a path that has the most campfire sites, it can also have the most monster and elite encounters. But we do have other options of upgrading this card. Although it will be temporary to the battle, it will still prove to be useful if you cycle through Searing Blow enough times. If possible, we should try to obtain the following relics. Warp Tongs. At the start of your turn, upgrade a random card in your hand. Yes, we have to rely on chance for it to choose Searing Blow, but this relic will still be useful since the other cards in your deck will likely not be upgraded. This is due to the fact that your upgrading focus is set to the one Searing Blow card. Winged Boots. A rare relic that will allow you to ignore path linearity for the next 3 rooms. Necromonicon. The first attack played in this turn is played twice if it costs 2 or more energy. Obtain a unique curse. For cards to look for in this build, Armaments. As I have mentioned in previous video, will upgrade a random card and your whole hand if it's in its upgraded form. This card can be used numerous times in a battle and will upgrade Searing Blow every time it is chosen. A few copies of this card will be worth investing in. Headbutt, costing 1 energy and dealing 9 damage, 12 when upgraded, and it has a unique ability of allowing you to put a discarded card at the top of your draw pile. This can allow you to cycle through Searing Blow a lot faster. Other cards such as Dual Wield and Double Tap will allow you to use the upgraded Searing Blow multiple times in battle. This deck did provide success in my run, as you obtain a card that quickly can possess high damage output at only 2 energy cost. Battles in the beginning of the run tend to become easier and quicker, which is what we are looking for in an offensive deck that has minimal block cards. It is suggested to have a smaller deck, but if you notice there are many cards that synergize well with this deck, and it is hard to pass on all of them. Keeping in mind that you also must look for some defensive cards to add. Another setback from building this deck is the lack of upgraded cards present in your deck aside from Searing Blow. And you also have to note that this deck needs to have the Searing Blow card present early on to benefit from visiting as many campfires. The second and final deck that I wish to share with you is the Rampage deck. The spotlight card of this deck is the Rampage card. It costs 1 energy with a base damage of 8 and increases by 5 every time Rampage is played during the combat. The damage increase becomes 8 when upgraded. Similarly, but even more imperative to the previous Searing Blow deck, our main goal is to play Rampage as many times. And for that reason, we will have similar cards to pursue such as Double Tap, which lets you play Rampage twice, meaning its main effect of damage increase is duplicated. Dual Wield. Duplicate a power or attack. Although the goal of this deck is to focus on getting the 1 Rampage attack amount elevated, we can use the Dual Wield later in the battle once Rampage has racked up enough attack. Headbutt. To give you more chances to play Rampage in a battle. For cards that differ, we can look for any draw cards such as Battle Trance, draw 3 cards and 4 when upgraded, but you are not able to draw any more cards this turn. Make sure to use this card after you have used any draw cards and potions or have met all conditions of a relic that allow you to draw. A great defensive card that helps with drawing more cards to add that I've talked about in a previous video is Shrug It Off. It is effective in any build route you go. Lastly, any of the vulnerability cards such as Bash, Thunderclap, Shockwave, and Uppercut will help increase Rampage's damage, but remember the deck size should be kept minimal, so choose a few of them to add. I did not have as much success with this deck as the Searing Blow. In fact, I was expecting similar results because of the similar cards that synergize with these two decks, and the focus around bettering the one card. It may be due to the fact that Rampage must be played as many times in battle to increase its damage, whereas Searing Blow already benefits from an infinite amount of permanent and in-battle upgrades. It is recommended to have only one copy of this card in the deck to be able to cycle through the usage of the one card more frequently, thus hastening the damage increases. But I think having another copy would be great as well. One card with an extremely high amount of damage, or two cards with a high level of damage. I would definitely pick the latter. As mentioned earlier, these two offensive decks have slightly more conditions to be met. For Searing Blow, it can only have a certain time frame for the card to be found before it becomes not worth obtaining anymore in a run. Rampage requires a small deck to cycle through it frequently, and you may end up passing on a lot of valuable cards before you finally find it. Deck synergies are utterly useless without the main card for both decks. And for these reasons is why I say that these decks should only be attempted once you have experience playing Slay the Spire. But the positives that come out of these decks is you will obtain high level of damage output swiftly early in a run. Have you come to the same conclusion with these two specific decks, or did you have more success in your runs? Let me know in the comments. I promise that this channel will not strictly focus on Slay the Spire. My next video will be about a completely different game and topic that I think you will equally enjoy. And as always, thank you for watching, bye for now.